Hello everybody, this is a poetry reading, and we're delighted to welcome everybody here, and we're especially pleased to welcome the people who responded to our Twitter invitation to read a poem from Pomes, Penyeach. It is the 100th anniversary of the publication of Ulysses. This year is Ulysses 100. So I want to begin by thanking the readers who kindly responded to our invitation, and we're so happy that you've joined us. We're so happy that you're all here, and thank you very much for coming. The poet Pablo Neruda, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature, one time said that poetry is like bread. It should be, my God, it should be shared by all, by the vast, incredible, extraordinary family of humanity. And that is what we are doing today. We're sharing poetry. Today's event is part of April is Poetry Month in Limerick, and this annual celebration of poets and poetry in the city is organised by the Limerick Writers' Centre. And today's event is actually number 10 out of 21 events which have been put in place by Dominic Taylor, who is the director of the Limerick Writers' Centre. I do think that Dominic Taylor plays a very important role in seeking to democratise the arts in Limerick and in making the arts accessible. Hence, this event is taking place on the streets. There is also something of democratising in the arts in the title of the Joyce book, Poems, Penny Each. In other words, a poem for a penny. And the book Poems, Penny Each was written over a 20-year period from 1904 to 1924. Although many of the poems were published in individual poetry journals and magazines, they were all published together in 1927. The other interesting thing was that it was Shakespeare and Company who published Ulysses in 1922, who did publish Poems, Penny Each in 1927. The book is a slender volume containing just less than 1,000 words, but over the years it has proven very durable, and a number of the poems, some of the poems that I'm reading today, have appeared in various anthologies. I'm holding up apples, okay, because the word poems or pomme is the French word for apples, and the idea in the market was you could buy an apple for a penny and or an apple for a franc. So that was his idea. Poems or pommes, apples, poems, a penny each. And the other strange thing about the book is that there were a lot of kind of compound words in it, such as rose frail or blue veins, and this kind of thing anticipates the kind of the ingenuity that Joyce used in Ulysses. And the word love appeared 13 times. The word heart appears in the 1,000 words several times. So really what we're going to see today is that at its best, Joyce's poetry achieves a sense of vitality, musicality, and a sense of loving compassion. So we're going to hear the 13 poems that Joyce wrote in Poems Penyeach. We don't have Poems Penyeach for sale, but we do have the poetry of Joyce, which contains his chamber music and Poems Penyeach. This book costs €12. We normally don't sell expensive books in this shop, but unfortunately that was the best we could do on this, okay? So the book is available for €12. So we're going to start the reading. We have 13 poems, and have you got a poem with you, Sheila? That's right.
Well done, Sheila.
Sheila's here, yeah.
Our most expensive reader, Sheila.
So the first poem we're doing is Tilly. And this kind of links as well to the Poems Penyeach, or a baker's dozen. The point is, normally there was a dozen, but he put in one extra for the Tilly. Hence the name of the first poem is going to be read by Dara McGrath. And it also mentions Capita, which for a while was the home of both Joyce and Madge O'Callaghan as well. So Dara, I said we don't have a microphone, so you've got to anticipate that the audience is at the other side of the street. Okay? So Dara McGrath is now going to read Tilly for us.
He travels after a winter sun, urging the cattle along a cold red road. Calling to them, a voice they know, he drives his beasts above Cabra. The voice tells them home is warm. They moo and make brute music with their hoofs. He drives them with a flowering branch before him, smoke pluming their foreheads. Boar, bond of the herd, tonight stretch full by the fire. I bleed by the black stream from my torn bow.
Thank you, Dara. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our second poem will be read by Dominic Taylor, and the title of the poem is Watching the Needle Boats at San Saba. San Saba is in Trieste, in Italy, and he's watching his brother rowing, obviously on the sea. Watching the needle boats at San Saba. Dominic Taylor.
Thanks very much, Pat. And may I say that key books also plays a key role in the life of Limerick and literature.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you.
Watching the needle boats at San Saba, I heard their young hearts crying loveward above the glancing oar, and heard the prairie grasses sighing, no more, return, no more. O hearts, O sighing grasses, vainly your love-blown bannerets mourn. No more will the wild wind that passes return, no more return. Thank you.
And down, Dominic. The next poem is a flower given to my daughter, and that's to Joyce's daughter Lucia, who was a very talented person but also a very troubled person. And this beautiful poem is being read by Tom Muldowney, a flower given to my daughter.
Frail the white rose and frail are her hands that gave, whose soul is sear and paler than time's wan wave. Rose fail and fair, yet frailest, a wonder child, in gentle eyes thou veilest, my blue-veined child.
Take your time.
Yeah, the sooner he gets his hand fixed, the better.
Okay, our next poem is She Weeps Over Rahoon, and this is strangely Nora Barnacle. Well, not strangely, but she tells the story to Joyce about her boyfriends before she met him, and one of them died young and was buried in Rahoon. And what I'm saying strangely is, Joyce was jealous of the boy, although he was already dead in the graveyard in Rahoon. And he wrote this poem, She Weeps Over Rahoon. This poem was actually written in Trieste in 1913, and to read it, we're delighted that Madge O'Callaghan will read it for us. Madge.
Thank you. Thanks, Pat. My claim to fame today is that I was mentioned in the same sentence as James Joyce. So. She weeps over Rahoon. Rain on Rahoon falls softly, softly falling, where my dark lover lies. Sad is his voice that calls me, sadly calling at grey moonrise. Love, hear thou how soft, how sad his voice is, ever calling, ever unanswered, and the dark rain falling then as now. Dark too our hearts, O love, shall lie cold, as his sad heart has lain under the moon-grey nettles, the black mould and muttering rain.
Thank you, Madge. Thank you very much. Our next poem from Pomes, Penyeach by Joyce is Tutto Ischiotto, and it's going to be read by Mark O'Connell, who may say one or two words about the poem as well. Thank you, Mark.
Every good poetry fan has a good hat, so I gotta that first. I last did poetry reading down in Sydney. One was a Yeats poem, When You Were Old, which has the soft look line in it, which resonates here. And I also did a reading of Oxen of the Sun, which I still don't know what it meant, but so it's nice to be reading some Joyce on the streets of Limerick.
Thank you.
So, my missus is Italian, so I said I'll do this one and do a bit of research. Tutto è sciolto is it's actually referencing an opera by Bellini, and it's mentioned in Ulysses when I think Bloom knows his missus has gone off with Boylan, I think, and this opera piece comes on and the feeling is in there, so here we go. Tutto è sciolto. A birdless heaven, sea dusk, one lone star piercing the west, as thou, fond heart, love's time, so faint, so far, rememberest. The clear young eyes' soft look, the candid brow, the fragrant hair, falling as through the silence falleth now, dusk of the air. Why then, remembering those shy, sweet lures, repine when the dear love she yielded with a sigh was all but thine?
Thank you, man. Thank you. Bravo. Can we just maybe move in a little bit to let all the people go to the poetry reading and go past? Our next poem, again being read by Dara McGrath, is On the Beach at Fontana, and this poem talks about Joyce is on the beach in Fontana with his son, and he's being very protective of his son. It's a lovely father-son poem. So, On the Beach at Fontana, Dara McGrath.
Back by popular demand. Wind whines and whines the shingle, the crazy pier stakes groan A senile sea numbers each single slime-silvered stone. From whining wind and colder grey sea I wrap him warm, and touch his trembling fine-boned shoulder and boyish arm. Around us fear descending, darkness of fear above, and in my heart, how deep, unending, ache of love.
Thank you, Dara. Okay, my research didn't allow me to find a background to every, give an introduction to every poem. So the next poem is Simples, and it's being read by Sheila Sugru. So Simples by James Joyce. Sheila, thank you.
I did find out that simples is a play on the word simplus from the Latin for a medicinal herb, and then also he's probably playing on the simplicity of the moment. So simples. Of cool, sweet dew and radiance mild, the moon a web of silence weaves. In the still garden where a child gathers the simple salad leaves. A moondew stars her hanging hair, and moonlight touches her young brow, and gathering she sings an air, fair as the wave is, fair art thou. Be mine, I pray, a waxen ear to shield me from her childish crew, and mine a shielded heart to her who gathers simples of the moon.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think I've broken this.
It's okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, our next poem, again, it was written in Trieste, January 1915. The interesting thing about all the poems appeared in Pomes, Penyeach, published in 1957. Some of these poems were published in different journals, and at least two of them were published in the poetry magazine, one of the most famous poetry magazine in the world. In 1917, one of them was published in that famous poetry magazine, and you can imagine there was no email in those days. You can imagine that Joyce puts it in an envelope from Dublin or Trieste and sends it to Chicago, and it's the most prestigious magazine published Joyce in 1917. Of course, he had one or two other, I think, Portrait of the Artist was published before then. So this poem, Night Piece, is being read by Mark O'Connor. Yeah, Mark. Thank you.
Pat gave me this poem about 10 minutes ago, so I haven't had time to research it, but have a look at it. Night Piece. Gaunt in gloom, the pale stars, their torches enshrouded wave. Ghost fires from heaven's far verges faint illume, arches on soaring arches, night's sin-dark nave. Seraphim, the lost hosts awaken to service till in moonless gloom each lapses, muted, dim, raised and she has and shaken her thurible, and long and loud to night's nave upsoaring a stark knell tolls as the bleak incense surges, cloud on cloud, voidward from the adoring waste of souls.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you. The next poem was written in Zurich in, of all years, 1916. Okay? Alone is the title of the poem, and it's being read by Tom Muldowney.
The noon's grey golden meshes make all night a veil. Shore lamps in the sleeping lake, laburnum tendrils trail. Sly reeds whisper to the night, a name, her name. And all my soul is a delight, and swoon of shame.
I'm not sure if I had a reader. Have I a reader for the next poem? A memory of players in a mirror at midnight? No, that's okay. Yeah.
No, I'm the audience.
The audience was looking.
Okay, we have 2 poems left to read. So, our second last poem is being read by Dominic Taylor, the Limerick Writer Centre, and it's titled A Prayer. Written in Paris in 1924. A Prayer, Dominic Taylor.
Thanks again, Pat. And I suppose this poem as well has resonance of Ulysses as well, especially in Mali. Anyway, that's what I think. It's called A Prayer. Again, come, give, yield all your strength to me. From far, a low word breathes on the breaking brain. Its cruel calm, submission to misery, gentling her all as to a soul predestined. Cease, silent love, my doom. Blind me with your dark nearness. Oh, have mercy, beloved enemy of my will. I dare not withstand the cold touch that I dread. Draw from me still my slow life. Bend deeper on me, threatening head. Proud by my downfall, remembering, pitying him who is, him who was. Again, together, folded by the night, they lay on earth. I hear from far her low word breathe on my breaking brain. Come, I yield. Bend deeper upon me. I am here. Subduer, do not leave me. Only joy, only anguish. Take me, save me, soothe me, oh spare me.
Okay,
I got a few for you.
our final poem is Bahnhofstrasse, written in Zurich in 1918, obviously in a railway station, and Joyce is feeling a little bit unwell, so he's just watching the world go by and maybe anticipating that at some future date when you're feeling unwell you may not be able to participate in all this toing and froing that you have at the railway station. Bahnhofstrasse is being read by Rudolf Listen.
Penyeach. The eyes that mock me sign the way whereto I pass at eve of day. Grey way whose violet signals are the trysting and the twining star. Ah, star of evil, star of pain. High-hearted youth comes not again, nor old heart wisdom yet to know the signs that mock me as I go.
Well done.
Well done, well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thanks. Okay, we've heard 12 of the poems. There was no Tilly, I'm sorry.
No, Tilly was there.
We had Tilly.
Tilly was there.
We had Tilly.
The idea of the Tilly wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fine. I really want to thank all the readers for participating and for responding. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming down here and reading on the street, participating in the spirit of what we were trying to do. Thank you so much for that. I also want to thank Marie Goff, who's my partner in the business, in our business, and Ruth O'Driscoll, our member of staff. And I also want to thank the occasional person who stopped to listen to one of the poems. We appreciate that so much.
Against rugby, you're a great man, Paddy.
Give the audience a round of applause.
Competing against the blood sport.
So, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming down today. Really happy about that. Thank you so much.
You're going the wrong way.
Grasses are in the Thunder keeps us from sleep.